Hi, and welcome to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Julia Zata, a LinkedIn strategist and ghostwriter, and lover of all things practical when it comes to visibility strategies. This podcast is for service-based business owners who want to build their brand on LinkedIn, attract new clients, collaborators, and speaking engagements without overthinking every post or sounding like a corporate robot. And yes, we're going to keep it actionable and fun. Let's dive in. I'm excited for today's episode. I haven't done a solo show in a while, and I'm excited to dive back in. And so today I wanted to expand on a post I shared on LinkedIn. The post I'm talking about said how I position clients as thought leaders. And just for context, in case this is the first time you land on my podcast, my name is Julia. I'm a LinkedIn ghostwriter and content strategist. So I work with founders, consultants, and coaches to create a LinkedIn presence that attracts attention, that gets conversations started, and helps increase sales for their business. And so these are the principles that I use when building my clients' personal brand with them. And I want to share them with you today so that you can use them to evaluate your personal brand and decide what actions you want to take next. The very first thing I look at when working with a client is, what is this person's positioning? What do they need to be known for? What makes them different from their competitors? Or what do their clients say about them that makes them stand out? Or what unique perspectives do they bring to the table that need to be highlighted to show that they're a person of relevance and definitely an expert in their field? So this potentially is the hardest part of your whole brand building, because often from within your business, it's hard to see what needs to be highlighted the most. For my clients, they often come to me a little bit confused or wanting to highlight different things or using words or phrases to describe what they do that doesn't really do their work justice. And so for you, what I would recommend is to work on this with somebody who is able to look at your business with a bit more of a detached perspective, and that can see the parts that you're not seeing about what makes you different, unique, and what makes your ideas or approach stand out. And so once you've decided what that thing is you want to be known for, you want to adjust your profile headline, your banner, and your about section to reflect this brand positioning. And this is the first step because it sets the tone for the content that you're going to create, because we want people to go from your content to your profile and for it all to be coherent and not to be attracted to a piece of content, visit your profile and see something completely different than, what they thought you could help them with. The next step after your positioning is to commit to a weekly posting schedule. So decide how often you want to show up on LinkedIn and make sure it's something you can sustain. For most of my clients, we do 1 to 2 posts a week. You'd want to show up regularly to teach the algorithm that you're active on the platform. Also to create an expectation amongst your connections and your network so they can expect to see and hear from you regularly, because by sharing content regularly, you're saying that you take your business seriously, that you have a point of view, that you have something to say. It shows that you're serious about building your business and showing up on the platform. And so it also tells people that it's worth getting in touch with you over there too. Okay, so next, once we've decided the content schedule that we can sustain, we want to think about, okay, what are we going to talk about? And so here is where we want to make sure that we're leading from perspective rather than information. So this is where we can position ourselves as thought leaders. And so being a thought leader means showing what your perspectives are on the subject matter that you're an expert in. So based on your lived experience, based on conversations that you're having with clients, what is coming up? What misconceptions are they revealing that you can help address, right? And so by addressing these misconceptions, you're showing that you're a deep thinker, that you are very familiar with this environment, and that you have a solution or a perspective, a way to address this that is better, that gets results. And this is really what's going to make you stand out on LinkedIn, the perspective. Having a unique point of view, because anybody can offer information. Anybody can now use ChatGPT or Google to just educate people on any subject. But what you want to do is talk from your experience about what you're noticing and what needs to change. That puts you at a level of authority that starts to build trust amongst people that are reading your content and following you, because by showing that you have an opinion shows you have experience that helped you form that opinion versus just helpful information. And the other reason that I believe you should lead with perspective over just educational content is that the clients that you want to attract don't want to learn how to do what you do themselves. They want you to help you with it, or they want you to do it for them. And so what they're looking for is confirmation that you're the best investment for their business, not for tips on how they can get it done themselves, right? And so leading with an opinion really helps build that trust in your brand and in your authority, which is what leads to conversion, into booking calls, and to making sales. Okay, so the next point I wanted to make is about making LinkedIn your authority hub. So basically, the data about LinkedIn shows that people who make purchasing decisions or buying decisions, they're called silent buyers. So they might be viewing your content, or they might be referred to you by others who are engaging with you, right? So basically, all this goes to say that the decision makers might not be engaging with your content, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't post it. Just today, I was talking with a client who was questioning whether or not video is a good option for her content. She doesn't particularly like to record video. We've done one together, and she said that the impressions weren't significant. And I told her, well, video isn't just about reach or impressions. It's part of your authority hub. So when people look at your content to understand if you're a worthy investment, they look at your videos to understand how you communicate, what you look like, what you sound like. And watching you express yourself helps them also with building that trust. It helps them preemptively experience what it's like talking to you before they make the effort to actually book a call, right? So all this is to say that your content overall builds an authority hub that people will preview before getting in touch with you. And so it's important to have a variety of formats so that people can get the most interesting experience of viewing your content before they reach out to you. But definitely the point of creating content on LinkedIn is to build that authority hub, because people today are busy. They might not have the time to engage with your content, but you still want to create this. It's like a shop window where people can shop before they engage with you. They want to get a sense of who you are before they reach out and talk to you. So the purpose of your content is to continue to build the authority hub, the thought leadership, and to show that you are a trustworthy and worthwhile investment for the businesses that you are marketing to. The next point is about strategic content. So in a way, we've talked about it, but I want to mention it directly. So when we talk about optimizing your profile, when we talk about creating content that aligns with your profile and your positioning, that is all part of building a content strategy. And so your content strategy should also be built around what your business goals are. So for a lot of people I work with, the business goals are more visibility, more authority, more credibility, and more lead generation. And I say that because I've talked to people who were posting content for one business, but their profile was still aligned to a separate business. For people that have several business ventures, you want to make sure that your LinkedIn is supporting one of those ventures. It's going to be confusing if you're working on several different ventures that target completely different audiences and you try and promote all of them through one personal profile. You want to think about what is the most important part of your business that you want to promote now and put your personal profile in support of that. The next point I wanted to make is about long-term visibility. So you want to start using LinkedIn before you need it to generate leads. So you want to give yourself a runway of building your personal brand, building your content, refining your positioning before you actually need it to generate leads, because it's putting a lot more pressure on yourself to get known and to convert all at once. So if if you're thinking of pivoting your career months from now, the time to start building your brand is now. You can document what you're doing in your current role, why you're trustworthy, why people choose to work with you, or what makes you a leader within your current role. And then as you transition to a new role or for entrepreneurship, what you do is you bring people along for the journey. So even just to build the stamina of visibility and the visibility muscle, it's better to do that when you're in a stable position, in a stable role where you feel a lot more confident, so that you can start to build that momentum. And then when you pivot, you bring people along for the ride, because it's actually harder to build that visibility as you're shifting. So it's easier to build the ability to be visible, or the visibility muscle, now in a place where you feel a lot more stable and confident than when you're in the middle of a shift. Right? So again, that goes into planning for long-term visibility. And so speaking of long-term visibility, I wanted to let you know that I'm opening up one-on-one coaching spots. So these coaching spots are for entrepreneurs, coaches, and consultants who want somebody to help them with their LinkedIn, but they don't want to be completely hands-off. So if you would like to have me in your back pocket, we will be working remotely through Slack, and you have me in your corner to help you with your brand positioning, with your profile optimization, to help you with your ongoing content creation. The way this works is when we start working together, you fill out a questionnaire so I can understand your brand and your business goals. And then based on that, you can ask me for content ideas. You can ask me to review your posts so that they're stronger, more impactful. You can ask me to take a look at your profile, suggest changes that you should make in order to stand out. So this is an ongoing coaching relationship where we commit to working together for 3 months at a time. It's perfect for those of you who want somebody to tell them what to do or how to improve their LinkedIn, but want to stay hands-on with their content. If you enjoy creating content, if you feel like it's a creative outlet, but just want to get better at it because you want that outside perspective that helps make everything so much more impactful, this is something I'm opening a few slots for now. And if that sounds like something that's a perfect fit for where you are, check the link in the show notes to learn more. Okay, so I hope you find today's episode useful. As usual, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to me on LinkedIn, DM me, tell me how you're liking this show and what's the first step you're going to start implementing from today's episode. Take care, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. If you found this episode helpful, please share it on LinkedIn or on your favorite social media platform. And if you really want to make my day, leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more business owners find this show. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.